Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 29. It's Iliya here, and as always we're gonna have a look at how the market developed this week and what do we expect for the upcoming one. It has been a huge week, this one with a lot of fundamentals going on, a lot of stuff, a lot of manipulation and a lot of wicks. Usually I just stop trading because for day traders that use very tight stop losses, it's a super hard time to get a nice entry without being manipulated, and it's all about timing right now. So if you're good at timing, if you're patient enough, you can go for this week. But I think that a lot of traders are starting to withdraw from the markets right now to close their positions. The year is coming to an end, so it's December. A lot of amazing holidays are upcoming, so make sure to relax a little bit and enjoy. So make sure to subscribe, because on the weekly outlook and setups volume 30 I'm going to announce something very big for you guys and I'm so excited for this. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and let's have a look at what do we have for the week ahead. As always, starting from the DXY, the US dollar currency index, what did we have for this week? So the market opened here on the 9th of December. We had a little indecision on Monday, and then the market just continued to push to the downside as expected because we had broken this area here, the neckline of this double top. We perfectly retested it and the price just did what it was supposed to do. We saw on Thursday massive wick here to the upside and price closed as well bearish. And on Friday we had a little pullback. So just looking at the daily time frame, I am bearish on the dollar, and switching down to the 4-hourly time frame, we can see beautiful structure. So this was a beautiful lower high being formed here, and price action is currently pulling back to make another one. So for intraday setup, I will put this flip here. You can see price is exactly at the 61.8% now. So we might have a nice push to the downside for the next week. But looking at the daily, so I would say that we have a new leg here, something like this. So we have a lot of confidences, but price can push a little bit higher and come to test again this structural point. Because if we have a look at the 4-hourly time frame, this was retested already. So price is not supposed to retest it again. But on Monday, we always have a little bit of manipulation. This can continue to push a little bit more to the downside, probably to the 78.6, and then start rejecting. But as I always say, let's flow with the market. Let's see how the DXY starts to resist around this area. Let's see if we have a little bit of consolidation around this area at market open. And then probably on Monday, London open or New York open, we're going to have that continuation to the downside. So bearish bias on the DXY. Let's see the other pairs. Euro USD daily time frame, we can see here on market open, price perfectly respected this. We had a Fibonacci level here. It created that higher low. You see 50%, and price perfectly fulfilled the 27% and almost tapped the 62% extension as well. But we see that the market encountered the massive resistance area here, and with this wick, price tapped into this massive liquidity and a lot of sellers came into the market. So looking at the 4-hourly time frame, as we're bearish on the dollar, we should be bullish on EU. So still, just looking closer at price action, I would mark this as my major structure here. That is the higher low. Then price created that higher high. So price is allowed to pull back anywhere in between, but not to break below this higher low. So let's see how the market starts to develop here. It's kind of similar to the DXY. It has already pulled back and currently it is sitting here about to start pushing to the upside. So again, let's see how Monday opens. Let's see if we're gonna have a few rejections from this area, and then potentially we should look for the upside. But looking at the daily closure, that is massive selling pressure. However, from the 4-hourly, we don't have any indication of a reversal yet. The trend is still up. Price is making higher highs and higher lows. So as long as price is staying above this trend line, above this higher low, I will be buying the market. There is a scenario that price may pull back to create a head and shoulders formation, something like this. But I will take a trade only when price breaks the higher low, breaks the trend line, and then comes back for a lower high. Those are my views on Euro USD. Overall, I want to be bullish bias, but I will only be if price supports at this area here. Euro JPY daily time frame, so we can see a similar price action here to Euro USD. So price pushed very nicely up here but found massive resistance. So the market already created a higher high and it did this massive push to the upside, but it just got too overextended and a lot of sellers entered the market. Maybe some TPs were taken from the bottom here and price just rejected big time. So let's see if I put a daily fib like this. So price broke this area and closed above on Thursday, and we can see that price is actually retesting this area and dropping down to the 4-hourly time frame. You can see how clear the structure here is. Massive bullish pressure, massive selling pressure right now. So is price, it's very similar again to the DXY and to Euro USD. Is price is going to reject here to push for to the upside, or are we going to fulfill the 50% and even better the 61.8, because I can see a lot of structural confluences here. Oops. With this area that was actually, you see price stalled a little bit here. We had some breaks and retests here, a little interaction, but price may pull back a little bit. The buyers may not be enough to create a higher high, so then price can pull back at the major area. Then we might have a little consolidation and then we can start pushing to the upside. But overall, I am bullish on Euro JPY. So we see this zone in here. You should take it from the daily. We have this massive Fibonacci here. So let's be patient. Let's see how the market reacts to this area. It already broke the 38.2. So I would love to see price action come down a little bit more and ultimately to the 61.8. So that's on EJ. Aussie USD, similar price action to Euro USD as well. So here we have a massive supply area, which is this one. Price pierced through it. Stop out here. You can see this price went above those wicks and then the selling pressure just triggered in. So from the daily time frame, we have a very clear ABC. So we can now plot our fib like this if we're looking for buy bias. This could be a double top as well from the daily time frame. So I will focus more on the 4-hourly structure now. We know that this is a supply from the daily and price just tapped it. We have massive selling pressure. The 50% was fulfilled. So let's see for structural confluences here. I can see that exactly at the 61.8% we have a nice area. So again, guys, there are a lot of possibilities for this market. This can pull down a little bit to and find a rejection here and then start pushing to the upside. Other situation is price can push up a little bit, find resistance and reverse. And this will be either a double top or a lower high. And as well, price can just create a higher high from here. So let's, as I always keep saying, let's stay with the flow of the market and let's see what happens. What I will be waiting for is for price to start to consolidate around this area, to show me rejections, that price is rejecting this area, and then possibly I can start looking for buy opportunities. And I want to see how the DXY and Euro USD open, to see how the traders are going to position themselves in the beginning of the week, and that's when probably on Tuesday I'm gonna strike this market. AJ, very similar as well. We have a nice supply area here. You can see price pierce through, massive stop hunt here and massive selling pressure entering here. So on this market we're bullish, like the daily structure is bullish. We had this structure that was massively broken, and it doesn't matter that price taps into a supply area right now. This does not mean a reversal. This means pull back. So we have to stay with the trend. Looking on the 4-hourly, we have a massive push to the upside, and this should be a higher low formation. So plotting a quick fib to see where price is right now. 38.2%, it still has some space to the downside. 61.8, you can see it's in alignment with this zone, and potentially 50%. So again, guys, there are a lot of possibilities here. Price can pull back to create a lower high and continue to push down. Price can form a little consolidation around this area, and this will be extra fine because we will see that price is rejecting the area, or price can just continue pushing to the upside. So let's see what happens. Bullish bias on all of those pairs, as we are bearish on the DXY as well. But let's see how the DXY opens, because we might have a little bit of manipulation to the upside that may cause all the other pairs to pull back. So I would advise you just to monitor how Monday is going to open. NZD/USD, we had an amazing push here. We see the last week was 5 days of bullish price action, and in the beginning of this week we had a little pullback and price still created that higher high. So we can see 0.66 was perfectly fulfilled, and even price action closed below it. If If I tap the level, you see price how perfectly fails to break it. 4 hourly, we can see that the market pushed over and now it is pulling back. So where is my major area? Well, I would consider this to be my last higher low. So remember the rule, as long as price action is staying above the last higher low, we are still looking for for buys. Unless price pulls back, creates a double top, rejects a lot, then we might have a short opportunity, but the trend reversal will happen when we have a new lower low. So let's see how this market is going to develop. Those are my expectations. As I'm bullish on EU and AU, I will be bullish on NZD/USD as well. On Friday, we had massive selling pressure on all of the pairs, so that is normal. But let's not try to sell yet. Let's see if the market is going to pull back here. It can potentially create a lower high. And if I see that price is just struggling to continue to create a new higher high, then I might consider sales if I see the opportunity. But overall, bullish bias. Very similar to NZD/USD is its correlating pair NZD/JPY. We saw on Friday massive rejection here with indecision, which means that price is just overextended and there are a lot of sellers entering this market. So having a look at the 4 hourly time frame, price is perfectly bullish. So there is no reason to sell this market for now. For me personally, I will draw the FIP and like all the pairs are currently, I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. But for reversals, I will wait for the double top formation to happen, then to see that there are more sellers than buyers, and then potentially price will start to trend down and create those little lower highs. And I will be looking for something like this, or potentially I will be looking for the 61.8% or the 50% pocket. I can see a nice area here of interaction. We see with those little indecision candles, which means exchange of orders here. Price just stops for a little bit, creates that little higher low, and then jumps to the upside. So if price returns here, we have a trend line here as well. There might be a buying opportunity, but overall, following the trend, we are bullish, so we should be looking for buys only unless seen otherwise. USD/JPY was a pretty interesting pair this week. Let's see what happens. So the market opened here. We had a lot of indecision, and I was seeing that this level was failing to get broken. So we were having a look with the team on the 4 hourly time frame, but let me just quickly mark this supply area and then jump to the 4 hourly. So we see here that price tapped here. Okay, that is perfect because this is a lower low of this structure. Price pulls back for a lower high and attempts to make a lower low but fails. Then pulls back again. Okay, this could be a lower high, although we saw some bullish structure. Price tries again and fails. So this was a very nice signal here that we might get along. But I suggested that we first wait for that descending structure to get broken and then try to join the trend. And so we had this here, a little pullback, and price just exploded. I didn't expect such explosion. I expected something. Yeah, we never know what's going to happen. But if I had just a little break here that would have broken this structure, then I would have waited for a little retest or just tried to get with a very tight entry to seize that momentum to the upside. But price just exploded, leaving us with no opportunity at all. So for those of you guys that caught the long opportunity from here, very well done, because it really made a lot of sense, especially on the daily time frame. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, a whole week of price failing to break below. So checking the price action right now, it is at a very strong supply area, so a pullback is expected, which already started to develop. Overall, I see this as a bullish market for now. I will, as always, plot my FIP. I use FIP just for confidence to see where the pullback may take place. And then I try to search for an area of interest. Well, for example, I can see here on the 61.8%, I have a nice structural point. So let's see how the market reacts here. I already see some rejections, but let's see if it pulls back a little bit more. 50%, 61.8%. Let's see if it pulls back for a double top, for a reversal, as we're bearish on the DXY. But overall, that's the analysis on the USD/JPY, and that is what happened this week. But overall, the momentum is to the upside. So unless proven otherwise, with a pullback and for a new lower low, I will be just looking for buys for now. So let's see what happens. USD/SWC, very nice opportunity on this market. As you can see, the price just pushed to the downside, and then it created this lower high exactly at the beginning of the week. We had this bearish engulf here on Monday, and then the price just continued pushing to the downside. So having a look here on the daily time frame, At the psychology of the candles, we see 3 days of price struggling to break below. So if we drop down to the 4-hourly time frame, we can see a little bit of consolidation here. Price created that lower low, price pulled back with massive bullish momentum, and then we already saw wicks here at this area. So this is an area of significance to me that price is failing to break. So if I have a careful look at the 4-hourly time frame, this was my last structure, but if this was a lower high, this looks like that lower high was broken by this massive wick. Price pulled back to create a double bottom, possibly a triple bottom, even if we have a look on the hourly time frame. But let's see what's going to happen. So overall, the trend is down. We can plot even, trend line is not possible here currently. So what I will be looking for in this market is more clear price action, because here the last 2 days price just started to consolidate. What I want to see is for price to pull back. I want to see 3 things: price pulling back to reject for a double top of this structure and then continue to the downside. The other thing I want to see is price break below and then come back for a retest to sell, or I want to see the price break this structure for buys and then come back for a retest. So a lot of opportunities are present. So let's see again on Monday how the market is going to open. But overall, USD Swiss franc is not clear now. If we are looking for longs on Euro USD, this should be down as it is, but we can see a little bit of consolidation. So let's see what's going to happen here, because currently it is not clear and we always want clear price action. Having a look at USD CAD, it was massive as well, and it was just a beautiful setup. We had this little consolidation here to the upside. We had this area that perfectly got retested, you can see on the daily, with this massive push. We have broken the last higher low as well and closed below. So there were tons of probabilities and confluences that this market was going to go down. So what we have is a perfect break and retest of the structure. We had a little consolidation here, then price pushed to the downside and created this little range, and then just the price action broke out and made this massive push to the downside. Where is price sitting right now? Where we can see it is at daily level. Let me mark it quickly like this and go down to the 4-hourly to refine it. So let's see something like this. So what we saw here was price pulling back to create this some sort of lower high, then push down to create a lower low, but it just failed to continue to the downside because this was massive push. So I think price is in need of a nicer pullback right now. However, looking freshly at this market, again, we can see where price is finding support. Right here, price is currently retesting this level area. So let's see if price rejects here and provides us with a long opportunity for a bigger pullback. Let's see if price breaks this area, then wait for a retest, and let's see if price action just reverses to the upside like this. So this is a potential reversal as price is failing to break here, but overall this is very bearish action. But even from the daily, if we pull this big fib here, we can see price exactly tap the 61.8%. So we have another confluence of price rejecting this area and turning into an uptrend. So as I keep saying, guys, sorry, make sure to stay with the flow. Let's see how the market is going to develop. Make sure to understand market structure and how does it move, and then we're gonna strike. So for now, let's see how price reacts at this bottom area here. Let's see what is happening with the GBP. So as you can see, we had a massive push, a ridiculous push on Friday. So with everything that is happening, I am just avoiding GBPs. I don't even have a look at them. But let's see what happened actually. So on the daily time frame, we see if I scroll back a little bit, I can see a very major liquidity spot around here. So this is actually around 1.34 where price reacted, or just a little bit below. You can see how this zone is acting as a massive supply area, because every time when price taps it, it creates a massive downtrend. So price currently tapped this area and left a massive rejection. So I was warning the team while still price action was around here, around this area. They saw this on Monday, double top. Some people took shorts, stop hunt, shorts again, stop hunt, and this price just did not decide to go down. And then we had this push, and that was the first time that I said, okay, let's start looking for sells. So I wanted a pullback, a clear pullback, but then price just pushed massively to the upside, massive push. So What do I want now? Well, usually this is an uptrend, but I really think that this should start pulling back a little bit to the downside. So I don't want to take any buys on this one because it's super overextended. As you can see, that's a massive uptrend here. So I think it can either create a little bit of consolidation. As it's December, it may start to slow down a little bit depending on what is happening economically. But for now, as I always do, like we can plot a Fibonacci, we see the 61.8% is perfectly aligning with this little structure here. So again, let's see if price pulls back to create this double top for a reversal. Let's see if price respects this area and starts to push up here in expectations of a higher high. And let's just see how the GBPs develop in the beginning of the week. So I'm not going to make the same analysis 2 times. GBP JPY is absolutely the same. Enormous push to the upside. Pullback already initiated. So we're looking bullish on this market. We're just waiting for price to create a level to show us that there are some buyers in this level, and then we will try to get on a buy trade using our criteria. So overall, super bullish. I would love to see the reversal on the GBPs as it is approaching massive areas here. 148, that did it get tapped? Well, yeah, it was actually exactly tapped, I think. Let me zoom in a little bit. That's interesting. Yeah, it was just around 5 pips or something like this, but this is a major area, guys, in this market. So let's see if price will pull back to test again to create that double top and to reverse. But overall, we are bullish, so let's stick to the trend. GBP AUD, massive uptrend, as you can see, bullish angle of the last day and pullback already initiated, although we had a nice bullish candle here creating that level. So here we have a level to work with, because if we drop down to the hourly time frame, we can clearly see where price action found support. So what I want now is for price to come back in here to show more kind of confluences and confirmations, and then I will try to buy this market. This is 38.2, so we might expect a little bit of manipulation to the outside, to the downside, sorry, because I see a nice structural point here around the 61.8%, and there is 1.92. However, the 38.2, we have 1.93. So we have a lot of nice confluences, but I really want to see how the market is going to react at this newly created area. And Euro GBP, daily time frame, massive push to the downside as well after price created this lower high formation here. If we drop down to the 4-hourly time frame, we see how beautifully price action rolled over here, came back up. A lot of wicks here. First wick, a little bit indecision, then that second wick that really stopped out everyone that was short, and then the price just plummeted to the downside big time. So again, let's check where price is. Around 50%. Where is my perfect area? Well, around here as always, the 61.8%. We can do this as well, like try to catch bodies to wick as I usually do. So let's see how this market is going to pull back once more, and then I will be looking for shorts on this market because it looks very, very, very good. So Euro GBP, short bias. CAD did not develop as we wanted it to, so let's see what is happening with this market. So we saw that price failed to make a lower low here, and it created this area in the market. Then it came back up to create this double top. It failed and it made a nice evening star formation. So what we were looking for on this market is a potential short opportunity when price action pulls back around the area. So I was waiting for this price to pull back at the 61.8, but we can see the market opened here, pulled back, consolidation, pulled back 50% consolidation, so I didn't take the short. And when I saw this push, I started to monitor, but I just didn't got an entry. And that is perfect because you see price continue to push to the upside. So right now, new analysis, nice push to the upside. Price is currently rejecting, possibly it could be this supply area, and we have one to the upside that price will eventually reach. So let's mark them on our charts like this. 4-hourly time frame, what do we see? Price pushing up here, pulling back. What are we waiting for? For price to create that level. Let's see if this is the level price actually staying at, but I would love to see a little bit more of a pullback, although that was a retest of this last structure, actually a perfect retest. So what I want to see from this market is the hourly time frame to enter the area again, to show me more evidence, to show me that double bottom here, and then I will be looking to go long on CAD yen. So remember with CAD yen that it's very important for you to monitor the Canadian news and USD CAD especially. And another confluences we have exactly what is that? Oh, I thought it's 82. So yeah, forget about it. We're currently staying at 83. So another confluence, I will be waiting for buys on CAD yen. Let's have a look at what is happening with gold. So with all the uncertainty right now, gold is just consolidating. And as we can see, we had this newly created level that price action manipulated above, pushed to the downside, then pushed it again to the downside. And we had this bullish engulf here. So dropping down to the 4-hourly time frame to monitor the structure, what is happening. So we had this bullish push, we had this boom boom, bullish candle into the structure, and then massive bearish engulf, indicating that there are a lot of sellers here, or that was just manipulation. And then price action is pulling back again here. So it looks like a head and shoulders to me. And just looking at the structure right now, I am more sell bias than buy bias. Why? Because we had this double top, then we had this massive selling pressure, and price action is currently kind of pulling back into this area again. So I want to see how the price will respect this area here. We already have some rejections, but I want to see it push up a little bit higher, leave me a nice rejection, and then I might start looking for entries. However, make sure to identify your last higher low, because price pushed up, pulled back, and currently it is trying to push up again. But if it fails to make a new higher high, then we have the odds in our favor that this might be a reversal. And having a look at the daily time frame, guys, price is in a downtrend. As you can see, nice downtrend. But just recently, price started to consolidate a little bit, up, down, up, down, up. It's currently up. It's at resistance level, so there's no anything wrong with taking a short here. But let's first see the price reject around this area to show us the evidence, the confirmations, and then we can start to look for shorts. And wrapping up this video with a quick look at the indices, US30, let's see what is happening. So we have this major area that price reacted to. This should be all-time highs because price has been trading in all-time highs since a lot of time. We had this push to the downside that looked like it broke structure, but it didn't. Price, it actually did, and this could be a double top right now. So it's pretty interesting to see what is going to happen with this one. Looking at the 4-hourly time frame, we have bullish structure, price is trending up. So as long as price stays above, like this is the last higher low, so there is a very long space here, a very long range for the price to break to tell us that this is okay. That will be a massive move. So what I want to see right now is how price will create a higher high. So currently price is retesting this structure here on the left. You see with this quick retest. So I want to see if this is going to continue up to create a higher high, or is it going to fail? If I see it starting to fail, I might consider taking a short, or the most conservative short will be if price confirms that this is a double top. And then we will always have a little pullback that we can join the trend. So that's my view on US30. I'm looking a little bit bearish on it just by looking at the daily time frame. We have massive 2 days of rejection here, and the last was actually a big candle of indecision. But overall, the 4-hourly trend is up. So let's see for more confluences. And NAS100, this looks more bullish than bearish because we had a break here of this last high. So having a look at the 4-hourly time frame, it is perfectly bullish. We can see by this trend line, however you like to draw it. Where is our last push? Well, it's here. This is the leg where price started to push. Price threw 2 quick wicks here to the downside. Nothing that we can base an entry on if you don't trade like 30 minutes, 15 minutes, but I always wait for the 4-hourly. But those were just manipulation big wicks, and it was Friday, so I wasn't interested at all. So looking at this structure, I cannot say that I'm looking for sales because the structure is super bullish. We don't have that daily thing of price rejecting at this area and having 2 days of massive rejection. We still have them. It's the same. They're correlated, US30 and NAS100, but I just want to see how this is going to pull back again and to create real structure, not just 2 wicks. So what I will be waiting on this market, guys, I will mark my high, which I want to see broken if this is continuing to be an uptrend. Pull back, then higher high. But if price pulls back right now and rejects here, forms that sort of a double top, probably best seen on the hourly time frame, then I might consider to take a risky short. But That's how I'm looking at this market overall. They're both bullish. Just US30 is kind of showing a little bit more evidence here. Even on the daily time frame, we can see that price is closing below the last wick here. If we take the highest point that is here, price is failing to close above, so we have another confluence. So that's for today, guys. I really hope I got you ready and you found something valuable from this analysis. If you did, make sure to let me know, slap the like button, and make sure to subscribe and turn on notification bells, because I will be announcing something very cool for you and I can't wait to share it with you. As always, thank you for staying up until now. I really appreciate it. Make sure to get in touch if you have any questions regarding anything, and see you on my next video.